Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys Board Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm sick.
Also known as Jeff.
Yes.
And this episode is, as our Wednesday episodes have recently been, sponsored by Gray Fox Games. So,
hey, you remembered it.
I did remember it.
Zach remembered it on the first try last time.
Oh, look at Zach. Such a better host.
Multiple people are like, there's a sharp increase in quality for whatever reason.
I don't know. Just keep doing whatever you did last week, everyone.
All right, I'll just recede into the background of the show. I'll be the one to go to conventions and bring back games and talk to everybody.
And I'll be the one to do that in Gen Con.
Yes. Clearly. For those of you who were astute and paying attention during that intro, though, indeed, episode 100. 100 episodes.
Which means 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah, Wednesday will mark our 2-year anniversary. Our anniversary episode will be Friday.
Yes.
That's when we'll actually talk about being 2.
Mentally, physically.
Yeah. Now, also, it's this Wednesday's episode is marked as episode 100. However, we have released 162 episodes.
Yeah, a little bit more than that. So,
something about, not numbering every episode all the time.
Because the Friday episodes are supposed to be timeless or something.
Yeah. Exactly. And I think there were some back in the day that we didn't always number when we were.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Like I don't think the time stories are not time stories. Some of the
the Gen Con one and
Gen
stuff
Con
like that.
Ones weren't. I think some of there were a few different ones, interview ones and things that we did that weren't actually numbered.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we are, episode 100.
Indeed.
Jeff, you're sick.
Yes.
You've been sick.
Yes.
Has it come and gone?
No.
Because I don't remember hearing you mention being sick last week. Because I listened. I wasn't here, but I partook.
No, it started like Thursday or Friday.
Oh, I thought you were sick before I even left for my trip.
I was, and then it was just like, okay, and it's gone, and then it came back.
Okay, so it came.
It doesn't feel like the same sickness though. Oh, so I don't know.
You got something else?
I guess.
Great. So now I'm going to get sick again with a different sickness.
Good.
You bitch.
Just blame it on Origins.
Con crud.
Yeah,
Clearly.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly.
I will be bringing the crud.
It's okay. I totally went to both Geekway and Heavy Con sick. So
yeah,
I was the vector of disease.
Because they were back to back.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've been sick. You did not then do the barrel bowl.
No.
On over the weekend.
I did not.
Zach, you did participate in the barrel bowl.
Yes, I did. I was there.
So the Bloody Minute this week will be from Zach, not Jeff.
Indeed.
Yeah, a little twist there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see if Zach does as good a job replacing Jeff on the Bloody Minute as he did replacing me as the lead host on the show.
I mean, we already have proven evidence that I do not.
Well, now you're gonna make up for that.
That's not gonna.
No, not at all. Myself, I've been doing a bunch of things. I did a long camping backpacking trip in Grand Teton National Park, and then I went immediately to Origins. And so I have not had a good night's sleep in approximately 2 weeks. I'm quite exhausted. And judging by all the stuff we have to talk about today, I think that I will not be getting to bed anytime soon this evening. So maybe Tuesday night. Tuesday night might be my first good night's sleep in quite some time. Hopefully. So, right on. Jeff, what else have you been up to while you've been sick? Anything exciting? Played any games? Done anything that you want to chit-chat about?
I got all of the moons in Super Mario Odyssey.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds impressive.
There are like 800 plus moons in that game.
So that is...
I did a lot of that work many months ago. I just kind of finished it off.
Oh, okay.
You're being sick. You're like, I've got nothing else to do.
I did it yesterday. And it turns your balloon thingy gold. But apparently you need to get to 999 for like the real like thing. But like I have like 880, so I have to buy 120 moons at I think it's 100 gold each. So that's
it's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money farming to be able to, it's just grinding to get to the fucking to get a stupid hat on a castle. That's all that happens. I did play some board games.
Yeah. Oh shit! Jeff played board games.
yeah.
I played Blood Bowl. What is happening in the world?
Tuesday we played Gloomhaven. We've started trying to make like a weekly / bi-weekly Gloomhaven group to try and start hammering away on that. We've been using the Gloomhaven Guild website for the scenario tracking and monster tracking and stuff like that.
With varied results.
Yeah. It's been fine though. We used it quite a while ago, and some versions have really made it better tracking and stuff on there. You don't have to go into each monster anymore. There's like a little quick plus and minus.
But it still doesn't do everything enough that Paul still complains.
Oh yeah, just constant bitching from Paul about like, oh, they've got shield. Why don't they just automatically minus all of the damage? Or whatever, or why don't they automatically take damage at the start of the next round when they have wound, or why don't they automatically do this or automatically do that? It's a free fucking website that has all of this tracking stuff in it for free, and so it works awesome.
I think it's funny. Paul will bitch about that, but Paul will defend BGG to the goddamn death. That broken ass old fucking website that needs an update like nobody's business. Anyway,
yeah.
So how'd the actual campaign go? How'd the mission go?
We just had time for one, and it ended up being fairly easy, which continues the Gloomhaven tradition of like wildly different difficulties between scenarios. Like sometimes it is fucking brutal all the way through, and other times it's just like fucking like a nuke goes off and you just smash the shit out of everything.
Okay.
Especially because we weren't drawing all that well. We had a lot of like whiffs. Like I think 3 of 4 people on their attacks for one whole round all drew their like complete miss card.
And it was just to kill this final guy. And it was just miss. And we're like, God damn it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's still going well. We need to play. I mean, we must be so early in that campaign still. There's still so much to do. Because we haven't unlocked even more equipment or anything yet. We are playing a mostly evil group, which is a way you can do things.
Mm-hmm.
But the game is clearly balanced around having a good group, because you get just way better things for being good than being evil.
Yeah.
Even though we did make a decision in one of the first campaign twists that wasn't as evil an option as it could have been, but we're more chaotic neutral than chaotic evil.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
We're not actively trying to fuck over people.
Yeah.
But
yes.
But occasionally you'll just rob a merchant.
Yes. On a case, or just not help someone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Help! I'm injured. Oh,
sorry,
that sucks.
Sorry, we don't have anything. Bye. And then it's just like clearly a negative option. But I guess the other option was like you just lose this one item or
you
whatever.
have to lose something and then gain because we even tried to play nice. We're like, oh, this guy, like we get invited to this wedding somehow of like children's of famous merchants, and we're like, we can try and get in their good graces, and they're like, Who are you? Because we didn't have high enough. Because we didn't have high enough reputation.
Who indeed?
For them to know who we were. But yeah, Gloomhaven still fun. Still need to get card sleeves for all of our heroes because they're starting to get a little, I don't know, damp, crusty cards.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Then on Friday I went to Board Game Republic.
Okay.
Which is a local board game, cafe, restaurant, beer kind of place.
Yes.
They have Epic there. And Escape to Colorado on their 3 beer taps. And I've realized Board Game Republic is not for me.
Yeah.
I had gone there on their like soft opening for like 4th of July like 2 years ago or so.
Right.
They're definitely like much more of a business now. But it's like a $5 cover, period. No bar tab, no nothing like that. It's just $5 per person. But they have a lot of like rules like absences longer than 5 minutes will consummate a new visit.
If you go away for 5 minutes, you're getting fucked.
You know what? That's not far off. If you're gone longer than 5 minutes, that will constitute a new visit. So you have to pay like another $5. You can bring in your own games, which was fine before, but now they only let you bring in one game at a time. So if you need to go grab a new game from your car because you have more than one, you better take less than 5 minutes because
don't Don't park far away.
Yeah, and then parking there is okay.
They
have a lot over on the side there between, like, it's not just between Renegade and Board Game Report.
Oh,
There's
okay.
another lot.
They must have added another one.
It was there before. It was just around the corner.
But I didn't know about it before.
Yeah. But, yeah, that is not the kind of place I need to go and play board games at when you can just hang out with friends at a brewery and get the same thing.
Well, and especially since we have so many breweries that are like really good friends of ours that know us, that are used to board gamers, that support us, and half the time will give us discounts and things. It's like, yeah, why would I ever put up with that kind of bullshit?
Unless there's some game that they have that I want to pay $5 to play, which is, I mean, we are lucky enough to have a large group of board game friends that everyone probably owns something that you don't, that you can borrow from them.
Yeah.
But there, I did play Mystic Vale without any expansions.
Okay.
And it played fine. Mystic Vale's still a good game.
Did you miss them?
I did miss the expansions. There's just way more interesting options that the expansions add to the game. Like the leader cards alone are really cool.
Okay.
I had an interesting game where I just had a fucking insane amount of spirits and was just dumping them into the advancement victory point cards and stuff like that. And the person I was playing with was like, I don't think I'm very close. And I was like, the thing about Mystic Vale is you don't think you're close, but you're probably right there. And then we added up the score. It was 46-47 at the end of the game.
Geez.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
I was like, holy shit. And really the only reason I won is because I got a really good last draw, and I just bought the cards. I had like 22 money or something crazy. In a 2-player game, your economy kind of gets out of control.
Yeah, that's very true.
But I bought the 2 cards, because you can only buy 2 cards at a time, that had the most victory points just on the card, because I wasn't going to draw again, so it didn't matter if it had a spoil token or anything. And then whatever advancement cards that I had the most victory points on them, and that put me 1 point ahead.
Damn.
Yeah. And then I played Seven Wonders Duel. First time I played Seven Wonders Duel in a long time. Still love Seven Wonders Duel. I did miss the Pantheon expansion a little bit, just because it gives you that 4th action you can do instead of like discard, draw, or build a wonder.
That's fair.
That one I won a little more. It was her first time like ever playing Seven Wonders or Seven Wonders type stuff. So I was helping her through the game. I think she had played regular Seven Wonders once and didn't really like it. And then she liked this version a lot more. Because Seven Wonders has just so many cards and stuff like that. And this one, it's just all laid out in front of you, and you can just sort of do what you need to do.
You don't have that like hidden information. Like you're like, oh, I didn't know that was a card. I would have planned for that.
Yeah. I just got lucky and got. Actually, she was extremely close to beating me on science. She had 5 science tags. But I was doing well at burning anything that was a duplicate, because the progression tokens, there was the law one for that 7th that she could have picked up. So I had to play pretty hard, but I ended up getting some good guilds at the end that kind of got me the game in that one.
Kind of pushed you over the top.
Yeah.
Right on.
Seven Wonders Duel, still good. As I was moving, actually, I realized that I had bought a copy on clearance at Target for like $10 that's still new and shrink. So I own 2 copies of Seven Wonders Duel.
So now you can get the broken token insert for
the game and the expansion.
And now you have just the game and then just the game and the expansion.
Exactly. And of course, at some point, I let someone borrow my Pantheon copy, and one of the gods cards is totally missing.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I don't know how that because those are big. It's not like it's one of the small cards. It's like the big fucking tarot card.
Huge cards. Yeah. Yeah. One of the gods pantheons is only has 2 of the 3 cards. Yeah.
Womp womp.
Womp womp. Indeed. Then we were at Strange, and then we played Click Clack Lumberjack.
That game is more fun than it has any right to be.
Yeah. We played it a ton at Geekway. Paul bought it at Geekway because he loves the bullshit dexterity games. But this was a original Japanese copy.
Yeah.
That I can't remember his name. Brought
Mike.
No, yes,
from
Mike.
It is okay.
But he does. But the Japanese copy doesn't have the little grubs and stuff in there that can add some other rules, and stuff like that. But
extra points and some. Yeah.
The box is much more enjoyable though. It's more of a rectangular cube than the giant flat, square box that the other one is.
Right.
Yeah. Clack, Jump, Lumberjack. Some interesting Lumberjack games. We pulled off some real horse shit in in a couple of those games.
Did you knock things over in such a way that one of the central trunk pieces, devoid of all bark, ended up vertically on top of the stack?
No, I already did it once. There's no need to do it again.
Yeah,
I'm not flashy about that.
Zach was also playing. But there was definitely a lot of nothing getting knocked down that wasn't bark pieces, or bark pieces getting knocked on top of the stack from not the top one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's pretty much all I did game related.
Right on. I played a bunch of games, especially if you consider all of the games that I demoed while I was at Origins.
Did you log all of those?
No, I basically have stopped logging games.
Yes.
I was getting some enjoyment from it and being able to dive into the stats and see what games I played the most and stuff. But ultimately, I realized that it doesn't matter. For me, it's not a numbers game. I'm not trying to
I mean, yeah, you're gonna die at some point, so you're right. It doesn't matter.
Jesus,
nothing really matters, Adrian.
Nothing really matters.
Yeah,
clearly. But yeah, I played a bunch of games. No, I did not log them. I was working at the Deepwater Games booth, which was awesome. They've got some awesome things. They scored a deal with Emperor S4, so they're basically bringing Emperor S4's entire catalog over here to the U.S.
Great,
including Hanami Koji.
Zach's favorite all-time game.
One of, yes.
They just announced that a few weeks ago. So yes, they have a whole bunch of all of those Emperor S4 games over there, and I was demoing those at the booth. Mystery of the Temples, which was an interesting little rondel action selection game where you're collecting gems to break curses using some pattern stuff. That one was pretty light, pretty simple. Not a whole lot there. They also had Herbalism, which is a fantastic little card counting deduction game. I actually was able to get a copy of that, so I have that. We'll be playing that some more because I really enjoyed that. Shadows in Kyoto, which I know Zach has been quite interested in. It's the successor to Zach's favorite game, Hanami Koji.
Yes, I've definitely been looking forward to trying that out.
Yes.
Especially since I was not able to finish doing the Kickstarter. So,
yeah. But that one's a really cool little 2-player game, kind of like a very Stratego-esque. So,
yes, that's what it looked like.
Yeah. Really good there. Did not get to demo or play either Crow's Overkill or Hanzi from them. They didn't have Hanzi at all. And Crow's Overkill, they didn't have out as a demo copy, although you could pick it up. Also played their big box Euro game, Roundhouse, a whole bunch. Really liked that game. In fact, it got to the point where when somebody would come over and was interested in that game, they'd pull me off of whatever I was currently demoing and be like, Adrian, come teach this. You're clearly one of the people who kind of gets this game. Go over here and do this. It's like, oh, all right. Demoed Sorcerer and Stones, which was kind of an interesting little game, moving tiles around with stones on them, manipulating the board. You could move tiles around or rotate them, move gems on those tiles around, and that was really cool. That one was a lot of a puzzle to it, to how to manipulate it just right to get as many cubes off as you could. And then their hotness game of the convention, they did a pre-release for their new flip and fill game, Welcome to.
As opposed to Roll and Write.
Yes. So it's kind of interesting. They list on the box that it plays 1 to 100 because basically everybody takes action. There's 3 options for what you can fill in on your turn, and everybody uses those same 3. But that game was the hotness. In fact, it's number 2 on BGG's hotness right now. And every morning when the hall opened, we had people running to the booth to try and get one of the 25 copies we did a day.
So you got to see the other side of how many copies were really released.
Yes, and it was, in fact, actually what they said. They only had 25 a day, and that's what they sold. So I was impressed to see that honesty. Part of me was like, oh, I'm going to be on the other side of this. I bet they've got hundreds of copies. They're just selling them all to people in the booth. And no, they in fact really didn't let booth staff from other companies and things buy copies. So they really saved them for the actual regular con attendees, which I thought was pretty cool. It was funny to me, like people would be running over there to get this game and they were so like, oh, we got to get a copy. And it killed me because you could order it online for the exact same price and it ships in July. So in like 2 weeks. But holy shit, you got to get it right now.
That'll happen.
Yeah. To be fair, it is a really good game. They gave us copies at the start of the convention when we first got there. They're like, here's this copy of the game. This is now yours. And that is how we are paying you for working this booth, is with one of the hottest games of the convention.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really, really good. Although I am definitely going to have to laminate like 10 to 15 sheets out of the 100 sheets that I have so that I
don't.
Because I'm going to run through them pretty good. It's going to be popular at game night. I think. I don't know. Maybe it won't. But really good.
We may never know.
Yeah. So those are all games I demoed. Some of them I actually played full games of, like Roundhouse and Welcome to. Other ones I played abridged games of, like Herbalism and the Mystery of the Temple. Then when I was out of the booth, I went and played even more games because I was at a gaming convention, and that's what you do. I got to one of the days meet up with Patrick Hillier, friend of the show, friend of us.
Friend of Punchboard Media.
Yeah, member of Punchboard Media. Active contributor over on What Did You Play This Week? Yeah.
Indeed.
Does a lot of things. Really nice guy.
Introduces fidget spinners to Zach.
and then
yes.
And then videos him completely failing at using a fidget spinner.
Indeed.
And broadcasts it for everyone to see.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to meet up with him and a couple of his friends, and we played the DC deck building game Confrontation. And so it's like a 2v2 where like two of you are the heroes and two of you are villains, and you deck build and fight each other.
Okay.
It was okay. It definitely, I mean, aside from the fact that I don't give a rat's ass about DC, like DC bores me.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Justice League on the flight and I fell asleep multiple times. Was not entertaining at all.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Wait, was it the director's cut? So it was extra long? I'm sure that would have kept you awake.
No, I think it was just the regular one. Thank God. And like so much of that movie, I couldn't help but think of the line in Deadpool 2 where he's like, "Oh, you're so dark. Are you from the DC universe?" It just cracked me up. Also seeing Batman, using guns everywhere.
Yeah.
All through the movie. Just not at all being Batman. But yeah, so I don't care about DC. DC does not interest me. So the theme itself didn't interest me. The gameplay was kind of cool. It definitely helped that it was competitive, kind of like a, playing the multiplayer competitive version of Hero Realms that you have, Jeff, where you can like gang up against each other a little bit
boss.
there and the bosses. Yeah. So that was cool. I ended up winning, my team, that is. I did do the killing blow, or one of the big killing blows. But yeah, it was all right. I also got to demo a new game coming from Ian Zhang called Curio. That is a interesting puzzle type game. So the best way that I can think to describe it off of the top of my head is that if you took a lot of the puzzles out of one of the exit games, like some of the number puzzles or like a dial puzzle to, figure out a word, and you gave everybody the materials needed to solve it, and then you have a deck of cards that has the actual puzzles, and you shuffle those up and deal those out to people. And so you're all playing together, all five of you. Each of you has unique components to solve a particular type of puzzle, and somebody else has the clues. So it's a timed game. You're working on a timer where they are trying to tell you the clues to solve your puzzle while you're telling somebody else the clues to solve their puzzle, and they're telling the clues to solve the other puzzle in this awkward, weird, overlapping triangle of hectic confusion and crosstalk. It was a lot of fun.
So everybody didn't just like one at a time be like, all right, let me tell you what you need to know, Adrian, and then you tell Jeff, and then Jeff can tell me.
We did at times.
Okay.
But because, like I said, it's a timed game, and if you don't have time to really solve each puzzle that individually.
Oh, I did not think there would be.
Yeah. So, but we did well enough the first time we played that he was like, okay, you don't get to play on easy anymore. You're going to play on hard. And so in easy, basically you can make one mistake and keep playing. On normal, when you make a mistake, you lose. And then on hard, it adds a little cardboard board that goes out in the center with a 30-second sand timer on it. And it's a 2-person action to flip the timer. So one of you has to put your hand out on the piece of cardboard on the button, and then somebody else can flip the sand timer. But whoever has their hand on the button is not allowed to do anything else. They can't talk, they can't work on puzzles, anything. And there were multiple times where we'd all be doing things and somebody would glance over and see like the very end of the sand trickling and go, oh shit. And we'd all look and somebody'd slap out there and then somebody flip the timer real quick. It was a bunch of fun.
All right.
Oh, Jesus.
Thoroughly ridiculous game. Really enjoyed it. Then at the Heavy Cardboard meetup, I got to play Neue Heimat with Carmen, the owner of Game Surplus, and Matt from Geekspiel, and Anthony from Board Gamers Anonymous. And it was a lot of fun, as I find Neue Heimat can be when you play with the right people in the right setting.
Did you teach them that game?
Yes.
Okay.
I did. And I did a much better job teaching it that I feel like than I did when I taught you guys. When I taught you guys, that was only like the second time I had played. And I definitely have improved my teach the more I have played and understand really what happens and how to explain it.
Okay.
So I did a much better job of getting across that it is a game that really requires you to interact with each other. Like if you choose not to do that, it's just going to be boring and a simple auction game. Whereas if you get real screwy and fucky, you can actually kind of push each other. At the end of the first round, I had 40 points to Carmen's -1 point. Then at the end of the game, I still ended up winning at 61, but Carmen ended up with 50. So Carmen scored 51 points in the last round to my 21 points in the last round.
Impressive.
So if we'd played a third round, I think that like at the end of the second round, it was much closer overall, everybody, than at the end of the first round.
And the rounds are just basically games.
Yes.
Like, yeah, right.
Yeah, the only difference is you don't reset the money from round to round, but otherwise you play a full game. I do also think that at this point, because I think the third game would have been where the third round would have been where it got interesting. I think I either want to play just one game where people know it's one game and everything and it counts fully. So they're fully invested in the one game, or play 3. Because I don't think 2 doesn't. I feel like you need that third one,
right,
to really make playing multiple rounds interesting.
And how long was each round?
About 30 minutes.
Okay. So you're either looking at a 30-minute or an hour and 30-minute game.
Yes.
Okay.
So whether you want to do it as a quick little filler or whether you want to do it more as an actual like heavy game. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. That entire meetup was pretty cool. There were a lot of really awesome people there. Got to meet like a bunch of different fans of the show all weekend. I'm not even going to try and name everybody because I guarantee I'll forget someone. They'll be like, "Oh, you forgot me. How dare you?" Really just know that I'm a terrible person and I forget names.
They all know you're terrible already.
Exactly. Yeah. They listen to the show, so of course they know. But that was a lot of fun.
It's weird that like people know us sometimes now.
Yeah. Weirder for me is the people who recognize my face from the live streams, but other than that's all they know about me is that I occasionally do a Heavy Cardboard live stream. I feel like some of them, like sometimes I've ran into people who don't know how to interact with me in that situation. They're like, I vaguely know your face from watching a YouTube video. How do I interact with you? Like fans of the show, they're like, oh, hey, Adrian, you suck. Like,
yeah, all right.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting what I need out of this show.
Yeah.
except for the handful who are on Team Adrian. They're like, dude, just wanted you to know I really appreciate having you on the show. So there's at least some heavy games on the show. Like, yeah.
I'm sure we will inevitably, I'm sure we will soon be doing heavy games for review.
Yes.
It's been a while.
It has been a while since we did a really heavy game, like a legitimate heavy game. And Paul is clamoring right now to play Great Zimbabwe. So I think Great Zimbabwe will probably be our next heavy game. And then I got Roadhouse from the booth, from working the booth. So we'll want to cover that. And I still want to do Tramways at some point. So got 3 heavy games kind of on deck. So yeah, we'll get back to heavy game reviews.
Indeed.
But did a Punchboard Media meetup, which was bonkers. I couldn't believe how many people showed up to that.
There was a lot more people there than there were at the Gen Con one.
And at Gen Con, it was still fairly new.
Yes.
True. Gen Con, like that was, almost a year ago now. And it was also held awkwardly outside and kind of put together last minute. This one, we had a dedicated room with tables to play games. There were a lot more members of Punchboard Media who were at Origins than were at Gen Con last year. I mean, Punchboard Media has also like doubled in size since Gen Con last year, at least.
Yeah.
And so yeah, but it was crazy. There were so many people. And then a bunch of people who weren't even in Punchboard who just, came by to hang out and play games. And so there were plenty of fans that came from all of those. I didn't do any of the other big shows meetups like the Brawling Brothers or the Secret Cabal.
Right.
Some of that was because I had other things going on. And then some of it was because those are just consistently a madhouse. And I don't feel like dealing with that.
I remember the Secret Cabal one from Gen Con.
Is that what was at that brewery?
Yes.
Yeah, that was fucking crazy.
Yeah, we saw all the people. It felt like there were at least 1,000 plus people there, and we're like, all right, well, let's just go do something else.
There were probably like 300 to 400 people, but all crammed into this brewery at like shoulder to shoulder. It was like we stepped inside and it was like the weather changed.
Oh, it was so
moist.
Yeah, it was so gross.
It was like Missouri inside that brewery.
You're just breathing other people's exhaled carbon dioxide.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. At a buffet. It was nice. I met Stephen Bonacore once again.
Yeah.
Outside there.
I saw Bonacore a few times. I didn't actually go bug him. Especially since I didn't have beer to give him this time, so I was just like, yeah.
Well, you really should have, just to see if he still would not remember you.
That was also, I don't think my ego could have taken meeting Bonacore like 4 times, giving him beer like 2 or 3 of those times, and then still having him not remember who I am.
I'm sure he meets a lot of people.
I'm sure if Jeff would have shut up and we're like, oh, fucking Jeff. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Jeff does have the hair.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Epic.
The hair is Mr. Epic.
That's the name I was given.
Yes. So, did a bunch of other stuff. Ate a bunch of good food, drank good beer, hung out with awesome people. I got to hang out with Cassidy from Board Game Blitz a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Got to actually meet Eric from Cardboard Horde, Eric Buscemi, who's like one of the main founding people of Punchboard. He was really instrumental in getting that off the ground. Yeah, got to meet just a ton of awesome people. The list could go on and on and on, and I'm sure I'd still forget people. Yeah, had a really, really good time. Trying to think if there's anything else I actually got to play that I haven't talked about, but I don't think so. I think the games I've played, I've talked about. But,
hooray.
Yeah, brought back 7 games, and so we've got 7 games on deck for reviews in the future.
Indeed.
So
now we just have to play them.
Yeah. So that was my Origins. Prior to Origins, I was just out backpacking, camping with Megan.
Backcountry canoeing.
Yeah. Had a bunch of fun. We're already like over 30 minutes into this episode, so I'm not going to talk about all of the cool things I saw, like a bald eagle catching a fish right by my campsite and then eating it on a log. Oh my God, it was so cool. I got some great photos. I'll do a blog post on the website here later this week with my mountain adventures. Yeah, and do some photos and stuff like that. Or maybe I'll make Megan do it. Maybe I'll make Megan do it as a guest post. She's done travel blog stuff before for travels. She's really good at it. Maybe I can talk her into doing a guest blog post for the Mile High Game guys.
Fair enough. You can talk about your flip-flops and socks situation.
Yes, I posted a picture with Megan wearing flip-flops and socks because her shoes got soaked on our ridiculous canoe crossing of Lake Jackson, and it was cold, and so she put on her thick wool socks. And then because she didn't want to walk around in the dirt in thick wool socks, she put on her flip-flops.
Like I was saying, it's a campsite, so it's fine.
I still judge you every time you do it.
Normal rules don't apply.
It was at night.
Clearly.
You get the sand, but like it kept your feet warm. All right. Because it gets cold at night when you camp.
Or just put shoes on.
No, it's
shoes are so restrictive.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes, they are. Also, like when you're at a campsite, that's really your home, and it's like I'm not just going to wear shoes in my house.
Not sure I agree with that, but
no! Immediately, the first thing I do whenever I get home is throw my shoes off.
Well, no, yeah, I agree with not wearing your shoes at home, but not like the campsite basically being your home and not wearing shoes in your campsite. Don't agree with that. Yeah, so that was everything I got up to. What about you, Zach? What games did you play? Adventures did you have? Anything you want to talk about?
On Tuesday, I purchased Jurassic World Evolution.
Oh, yeah.
Which is basically Jurassic Park Simulator.
Okay.
Do you know the Park Coaster?
Yes.
Yeah, Planet Coaster. Okay. It's by the same people that did that.
Okay.
What?
I was thinking of that other game, the board game.
Coaster Park?
Yeah,
Coaster Park. No.
The game that doesn't work?
This is an actual video game, but I I had been having an itch to play Dinosaur Island again recently, and I was like, okay, well, I don't really have that itch anymore because now I can get actual dinosaurs, make them, I can watch them like eat things, and then recent one I had a storm come by and that my velociraptors got panicked and busted out of their fucking pen because of it. It started running around and I had to deal with them and shit like that. And I was like, this is what I want in a Jurassic Park game. So I've been playing that, which was a lot of fun. Let's see. I played Spades on Wednesday. It was the first time I'd played that in a while. So much so. And that combined with the fact that a lot of us hadn't played, like one person hadn't played ever, and then the two other people had been a while since we played. We are actually like getting one or two things wrong the entire time.
Oh dear.
Andrew ended up having to leave, and so Paul came in, and you know how much he loves Spades. He immediately was like, "No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. That's bullshit." And we're like, "Oh, okay. Well, this was a good practice one then." And it was definitely, you could definitely see the skill that he has in it just because of how much experience he has in it. That it was just like he had like great hands. He's like, "Oh, I'll go nil," and then you're just like, "Okay," and then he fucking was able to get rid of everything, and you're like, "Damn, you crazy son." But the main thing is, I would say the main thing I played recently was Imperial Assault.
Okay.
I did that on Sunday. We continued our campaign, and we also found out that we were doing something wrong in that as well.
You don't say.
Yes.
What'd you do?
It was so all the cards that say exhaust this card to do whatever it is. Exhaust is once a round, not once a game.
Oh.
Yeah. Deplete is once a game.
Oh.
Well, then.
It made things a lot different.
Because we were playing it as exhaust. When you rest, you can unexhaust it.
Yes. Yeah.
And not just once per round.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So that made things a lot different for us, but also for Ant.
I'm sure.
We won our first. We did 3 different missions. We won our first one, and then we did a second and the third mission. And then that's when, like, during that second mission, we realized we were doing things wrong. And we got crushed in the third mission because Ant was able to use all of the shit that he could actually, like, he had a lot of things that said exhaust. So he thought it was a one-time use.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just once around. He can use this if he wants.
Okay.
So it got brutal.
I'm sure.
We finally did that Simple Cruise one. It was not simple. Like, Simple Cruise was just like, just go activate these terminals. But the terminals were like, gave Ant experience, or it gave him threat or whatever it was. And so he was like,
Overlord power.
yeah. And so it seemed like we were supposed to do like move from room to room and sort of like kill guys and then activate a terminal. But we were like, oh, there's a bunch of terminals. Let's just spread out and activate a bunch of them at once. And then he's like, all right, well, I have 2 Royal Guards and 2 Elite Royal Guards right here. And we're like, oh, this is... No. We ended up just ending that one early.
Yeah.
We're like, well, Paul checked out as soon as those guys got put down because he was just like, well, there's no fucking way we're going to be able to win this one now.
Yeah.
Which was, I mean, it was pretty true. But like Julie was able to avoid, like, she got hit by the Elite Royal Guard twice, but she was able to block it both times.
Okay.
And she avoided 10 damage and 2 stuns that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's her entire health.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
But we're and I think we're finally playing the game correctly now. And so I'm curious to see what our next mission is going to be, to see how we do. So,
okay.
We tried to rescue Han in our second mission, but we did
not rescue Han.
No, yes, we did not rescue him. Okay. So
I heard the next one is basically deal with Darth Vader.
It's either deal with Darth Vader or Darth Vader is now an option for Ant to use at any time, assuming he has the threat to pay for it. And we're
Darth Vader is expensive.
Yes.
It's like 26, 28 or something
like that. Yeah. But it's also Darth Vader. I think you just need one Darth Vader and then you're like, okay.
It's nigh impossible to defeat.
Yeah.
Unless he's by himself and just getting fucking plowed on.
Yeah.
Phrasing.
It's fine.
No. I think that's apt.
Yeah.
Just got to really pound Darth Vader.
Yeah, plow. You have to plow Darth Vader. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's basically, let's see, custom heroes. I played a bit of that, and yeah, that's about it. That's all I've been doing, really.
Okay.
Well, except for one more thing, but I think we talk about it right now.
Yeah. So that wraps up all of the banter, what we've been playing, what we've been doing, which brings us to the Bloody Minute. But shock twist, Chef is not doing the Bloody Minute.
No.
Zach is doing the Bloody Minute.
Yes, I am.
I love your enthusiasm. already.
How'd your games go, Zach?
All right. Well, so
this was tournament.
this was a tournament. I've always told Ant that if he needs, like, because I don't want Ant to have to run a tournament and then
And
be like
not
not be able to play. And so I'm like, if you have an odd amount of players, let me know and I can just play. I'm not obviously it's like I'm not going to pay for it, but I'll just take up a spot if you need me to.
Yeah, because you only really need to pay to be in the NAF like overall rankings.
Yeah, because I don't absolutely no interest in playing in any like a quote unquote official tournaments and stuff like
official competitive.
Yes, yeah, no. Really playing anywhere that isn't a brewery, I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
But to sort of color my experience, the Friday before it, at 2 a.m., I remembered I was the one that was supposed to edit the Friday episode. So I ended up staying up till 6 a.m. to finish it. Went to bed around 6:30. Woke up around like 2. And then that Saturday morning at 9 is when the tournament was supposed to start. I didn't go to sleep till about like 4:45.
All right.
And I woke up around 8:15. So I got like 3.5 hours of sleep. And so, bought energy drinks to keep myself awake.
Yes.
And got there and I was Chaos Dwarves.
Okay.
I had a Minotaur and 2 of the Bull Centaurs.
Yes. As you do.
Yes.
As the Chaos Dwarves.
Which the first round, I ended up playing against Paul. I was like, good, because I haven't played in a while, so I want to make sure to be like, am I doing this right?
And I'm sure he was very nice to you.
Oh, yeah, he was Khemri, like Egyptian styled people.
Egyptian undead.
Yeah. Literally, his first move, I kick off to him. His first move is to hit a dwarf and then break the armor and then casualty it.
Nice.
I'm like, okay, well, this is how this game is going to go.
Yep.
Because he had a fairly bashy style. Like
he made his team to smash the shit out of everyone as much as possible.
Yes.
And then he definitely got the most casualties in that game.
Yes,
in the tournament.
Yes, he did. I think he ended up getting like 16 or something.
16.
Yeah. Basically, like we would hit each other, but I also was not using my Bull Centaurs correctly because for whatever reason, like probably due to tiredness, I did not ask Ant, how do I play these guys? I was just like, okay, these guys are strong, and I was playing them like black orcs because the last time I played, I was orcs, and I was like, these function similar to that, which not they do, but they're fast. They're fast, so you don't want to, and like they have sure feet. So they're not going to fall down.
They can reroll go for it.
And they get an extra go for it.
Oh, they have sprint and sure feet.
Yeah.
So they can go for it 3 times with a reroll.
Yeah. Is that just like if I like, would I get to reroll every go for it?
No. Okay. Like if you fail one, you've used it for the turn, but you can still use team rerolls for those future ones.
The round basically ended Paul 2-0. I had casualty 2 of his skeletons, his most base units.
Yes, that probably have decay that take 2.
No, they might have, but they had regeneration, so one of them just went back into
Of course.
He casualtied 7 of my guys. 5 of which were dwarves or the centaurs. Because he was also going heavy on fouls. He fouled 14 times.
Whoa!
The only time he didn't do 18 or 16 was because he needed to score.
And if you foul, it's a turnover.
Yeah.
Or if you get tossed.
If you get tossed. So he needed to score in the 8th round of each of the halves. So did not go well for me that first time.
No.
My second round, I played a Norse team, and I lost that one as well, 3-0.
All right.
I continued to not get casualties. I think I ended up getting like maybe 2 or 3. I think I had 2, but I surfed her she had a giant werewolf star player.
Okay.
That had like claws and shit like that.
Yeti probably.
So, yeah. I was able to surf him twice, both times, just back in the reserve, and I was like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Because I had the Minotaur, and I I was able to
frenzy.
Frenzy push him right into it, and I was like, God damn it again.
And then just nothing.
Yeah. So none of the rolls, like my guys weren't doing what I wanted to. I was trying to use those centaurs, the bull centaurs, more like I was supposed to, but they kept getting stunned. Like they get hit and then they get stunned.
They have pretty good armor too.
Yeah. but it just because everybody except the Minotaur and the Hobgoblins had 9 armor, and it just kept getting broken. It was really annoying.
Yeah, I know how you feel.
Yeah. So after that one, I was really annoyed, but mainly it was just due to being tired and not doing. I felt like I just wasn't able to do anything.
Yeah.
That last one, and then like a headache and stuff from lack of sleep, and the fact that I was on on my 2 games, like I had my energy drinks and I had beers right next to them. So I'd take energy drink, beer, energy drink, beer.
Nothing's ever went wrong from that.
So the Barrel Bowl is one that we'll host at a brewery.
Yes.
It was at Strange Craft this time because Barrel Beer Co. is sort of closed, sort of not closed. I don't know what their deal is now. I don't think they've found someone to buy them. I have no idea.
Yeah, I know the original owners don't own it anymore, but that's
it's handed over to the landlord.
Right, yeah. But so my third one, this was basically me and another guy playing to not get the Jeffy because I had lost 2, he had lost 2.
What was your
he was Orcs.
You were playing against David T?
Yes.
And the Magic Missiles.
Yes. This time I was able to actually get the Minotaurs to do what I wanted them to because I immediately I kicked off to him, and then on my turn I was immediately able to get my Minotaurs past the line of scrimmage, and both of them converged on the pincered the ball catcher. Did not end well for him.
No, I'm sure it did not.
I think it took like 3 turns to actually knock the guy off, but like they were just chasing him around the entire time. Like the ball was in the center because I knocked the ball out of his hands.
Yeah, and
then I was just going to fucking casualty or him, so we're just like running around him trying to get him.
Okay.
But I was able to smash a bunch of his shit.
Okay.
I started fouling more on that one because like our anchor player, he got Drunken Animal, which was his final. Like, so the first one was
so
sprint.
this is the tournament that there's a special rule, fun rules kind of thrown in there.
Yeah, and so
a designated drinker, I believe.
The first round he just had sprint, so he could do an extra thing. But I just put on a Hobgoblin because I was like, I don't know what. Like, I couldn't even remember what some of the skills were at that point, but. It ended up working well because it was that. Then the second one was Dirty Player, so he got a +1 to fouls.
It's like Mighty Blow for fouling.
Yeah. And then the third one was Drunken Animal, so unless he was used to hit, block, blitz,
Wild animal.
No.
Oh.
It was block, blitz, or foul. It was a 2+. If it was that, otherwise it was a 4+ to have him do anything.
Okay.
So I used him to go run around and foul
things.
Yes. Okay. Also, just a clarification, for Paul's 14 fouls he did, not a single ejection.
Not a single doubles on the...
I did one foul against Paul, ejection.
Immediate ejection.
I was like, God damn it.
Of course.
Yep. But I was able to... I got a 2-0 victory against the Orcs.
Okay.
And I was actually, like, that one I was actually able to have some fun just because I was able to do... I felt like I was actually doing things in the game. But yeah, I ended up... getting 12th overall, I think, just because I feel like some people got like multiple ties, and then I got to write on his trophy. Apparently, that is now a thing. You write on the whoever gave the person the Jeffy. You wrote something on it. So I said Orcs got an orc because his orcs weren't orking.
Yeah.
And so yeah, and every time I'm done with a tournament, I'm always just like, all right, yeah, I'm good for like
3 to 4 months. At 4 to 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like I have like 1 to 2 tournaments a year in me. Like
the next one is in mid-November.
Yeah.
So
yes,
about 5 months.
Exactly. It's like, okay, I think I'll be okay then. If it was like August or so I'd be like,
and it's trying to run 4 a year. I think it's running at about 3 a year right now.
Yeah, I think like 50-50 chance of one. Like I don't think if it was like 40 a year, it'd be like. Half of them I'll do that. Half of them I'm not going to be able to. So
overall, Ant won first place.
Yes, he did.
He was playing Vampires, which is not I think maybe a tier 3 team. But he did super well with them. I think he had the Vampire Star on there. Vampires have like every time they do anything, like each one of the vampires has like Bonehead basically, but they have to run up to one of their players, their thralls, and then just injure them, do an injury roll.
Right. Wow. That's right. Yeah.
So you can stun, casualty, KO them. And if they can't, and they have to stop whatever they're doing. Like if you're trying to score, you have to run at them, and if you can't, they just run off the field.
Right. Yeah.
and go into reserves or
Yeah.
something. So that can be brutal. But apparently Ant turned it out well. Ant got like 50 more points than everyone. Like he had a score of 204.
Well, that's because he won all 3 of his games.
Yeah.
So.
And I think he was the only undefeated team.
Yeah.
So yeah, he did super well. Paul's bullshit Egyptian douchebags got second place. He also would have gotten the Casualty Cup, but he got second place, so he got second place. The Aaron, who I don't think I've met before, he had an ogre team that actually got the Casualty Cup.
Yeah. So I mean, it's funny is that at the actual ceremony though, Ant took Casualty Cup and then gave Paul first and Adam second.
Weird.
Because he didn't want to take first in his own cup.
Oh,
or
in his own tournament?
Yeah.
Okay, so Paul got first.
Yes.
With his bashy as fuck Camry team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that's why he won.
Yes.
He just bashed the shit out of.
Oh no, 100%. Yeah. Like I said,
I've played that way before. I've tried to play that way before, and just nothing happens. Like I played Matt, and I got like 17 KOs over the 2 halves, and I was just like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. That was Blood Bowl.
That was indeed Blood Bowl. All the playoffs, real quick, are all lined up. They haven't been played yet. The first round of the playoffs for the season about to start. Fucking going hard.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not in them, but you know, everyone's scheduling, and that's now it's time for news, right? Now it's time for me to ruin my voice even more by spouting off all of the news and Kickstarters. First up in news, Scythe's digital version is officially available in Steam Early Access.
Yeah, so in the grand tradition these days of really good board games like Terraforming Mars getting a digital implementation, Scythe now has a full digital implementation as well, and not just an app, like an actual full Steam game. It is still in early access, so gameplay and features of it are going to be kind of changing, basically alpha.
I'm sure the game mechanics are probably pretty solid in there.
Yeah. It also currently only features the base game of Scythe, none of the expansions.
I'm sure those will be paid.
Exactly, they are planned for later. It is also currently only on Steam, although they have iOS and Android versions that they say are also planned for the digital edition of Scythe. So
I'd probably buy that. I should buy that.
Yeah.
Because I would like to play more Scythe, but
has unique soundtracks for each player too.
Yeah,
that's good. How much is it right now?
It's probably around $20.
Okay.
My assumption.
$19.99.
$20.
You were 1 cent over,
Oh,
Jeff.
yes.
Sorry.
Price is right rules. Yeah.
Yeah, fucked.
Yep. $1, Bob.
$2, Bob.
Fuck you.
That's why you never do $1 before that.
Unless you're dead last.
Yeah, unless you're dead last.
Yep. Or just start at $2.
Yeah.
My plan is foiled. You started at $2.
$3.
Whatever will I do?
I just want to do like $10.
I'm gonna play conservative. Still do $1.
Yeah.
I too like to live dangerously.
Yeah. Pretty sure that I'm pretty sure you bought that at the Dollar Tree.
Yeah. Next up in news, the Kinderspiel Spiel award has been announced, and Dragon Breath is the winner. Dragon's Breath.
Yeah. I know absolutely nothing about this game. I knew almost nothing about any of the Kinderspiel nominees because I don't typically play children's games. Yeah, cute little game. Ages 5 and up is what it says here. 4 young dragons and 1 dragon dad trying to get the most gems out of an ice column filled with them. In the game, that's represented by a stack of rings filled with plastic gems. Each round, you pick a gem color that you think will come out of the ice when the dad melts it. Once they've all picked, dad will pick up the topmost ring, allowing some gems to fall off the tower to be collected by the young ones. Holes in the board so that if a gem falls in there, it goes to the dad and he can win. After all the gems that have fell have been collected, young dragons pick up what color they will collect, and the next ring comes off. Continues until all the rings are gone. So, I don't know. I could see Paul getting that game. Pulling rings off and letting gems fall all over a table. Sounds like the exact type of game Paul would like.
Next up in news, Origins was recently, if you remember from, I don't know, an hour ago when Adrian was talking about it. But the Origins also have awards, and those awards are out and about.
in what I am sure is just absolutely shocking fashion, Gloomhaven, Game of the Year.
Yeah, real
at
shocker.
The Origin Awards.
And best board game of the
Yep.
year.
Best card game was Ex Libris.
Still need to play that.
Yeah, definitely.
Isn't it here somewhere?
Paul has it.
Paul has it. I don't have it. Best family game was Azul. Role-playing game Adventures in Middle-earth.
I have not seen or heard of that.
I saw the book at Origins. I was looking at it.
It's a paper pencil kind of thing?
Yeah, pen and paper RPG. I kind of thought about getting it because I know Megan loves all things Lord of the Rings.
Gotcha.
So it might have been a good RPG, but I already have too much on my plate without starting yet another RPG.
And this one would be a hard pass for me.
You sure, Zach?
Yeah, well,
Sure?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Best role-playing supplement, Dungeons & Dragons, Xanathar's Guide to Everything, which we will be using in our upcoming D&D podcast I'm starting.
Ooh.
Best miniatures of the year, Warhammer 40K 8th edition.
80th edition sounds right, but not quite. I do have to say their 8th edition is pretty great.
Yeah. Best game accessory of the year, the Terraforming Mars Organizer from Broken Token.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yep.
It was needed.
And best collectible game, Star Wars Destiny Awakening's Booster.
And this is a collectible dice game?
Yes.
Yeah. And then they also awarded 2 people to the Academy of Adventure Gaming Arts and Design Hall of Fame, and that's Eric Lang and Ken St. Andre. But the Hall of Fame basically is just, as Hall of Fames do, honoring people who have made critical contributions to gaming, including designers, artists, and the like. So, yeah, those are the Origins Awards. Yeah, I think Gloomhaven's going to win a lot of awards this year.
Yes.
I'm not surprised.
That box is going to be just loaded with award stickers.
They
I'm
might
sure.
even need a bigger box just to hold all the stickers.
Yeah.
No more cover art, just awards.
Yes.
To be fair, there's a lot of room on the sides of the box, too.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. And last up in news, we hit our 2-year anniversary, but we already talked about that.
Yes.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still.
And we'll talk about it more later.
Still
On Friday.
2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's on some news site somewhere that we hit our 2-year anniversary.
The Mile High Game Guys are now 2.
Yes.
We also hit 100 episodes. We're in
Yes.
triple digits now.
Yeah. Most podcast continues.
Yep.
Yeah. Not
Although technically this, like, even if we go by just official numbers, this is the 101st episode because we had episode 0.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
But it's
the
episode 100.
That's the dangers
Mhm.
of 0 numbered episodes.
Yes, it is. Well, I'm saying there's a difference between 100 episodes and episode 100.
Correct.
Just saying that.
It's true.
Yeah.
Now we move on to Kickstarters. First up in Kickstarters is the Kung Fu Panda board game, which is just underfunded. 35,000 of its $39,000 goal, 624 backers. But this one still has 3 weeks left to go, which you can pledge for $33 or $80 with miniatures, which seems to be what everyone is doing.
Yeah. So this is a cooperative board game for 2 to 4 players. Takes 10 to 30 minutes, where you are teaming up to play one of the Furious 5 or the Dragon Warrior Poe, competing different challenges, fighting like Ox Grunts, Wolf Slashers and Spearmen, and the Wolf Boss, as well as Tai Lung himself. So this is clearly the bad guys and things from just the first of the Kung Fu Panda movies.
I've not seen any of them. But Jack Black is a national treasure.
Jack Black's fantastic.
Yes, he is.
As is at least 1 and 2. 3 starts to...
So I from what Zach and I were talking about, 1 was great, 2 was and 3 was surprisingly good.
Oh, see, I really liked 2.
I mean, I liked 2, but there are definitely some people that did not like that as much. But I liked 3. It, especially dealing with the dad and all that stuff, and Bryan Cranston and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. 3 was surprisingly good. It wasn't bad. That's for sure. But so this game plays using action dice, which show various symbols that will activate what you do, like a kick, a punch, 2 moves, a chi, a claw. And so you're rolling 4 dice to get different combo moves, different combos to move around the board, attack enemies, and complete objectives. And then if you ever roll claws, you move around the Dial of Destiny, which triggers what enemies will spawn and attack. There's also a timer, so you're trying to get through this in a set amount of time, which helps really keep the time limit down.
I thought the real time part was pretty interesting.
Yeah, they don't have any pictures of the actual miniatures. They look like they're still just digital renderings, but they look pretty good. I mean,
There's a lot of them.
they look like the bad guys from
Hopefully that's
Kung
what
Fu
they.
Panda.
That's hopefully what they look like. Yes.
They actually look like the characters and things from Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, which is always you want that
In a Kung Fu Panda board game.
You want that in a miniature, yeah.
Yeah. And if you they do have the with masters version that gives you figures for a bunch of the other Kung Fu masters like Oogway, Shifu, Rhino, Croc, Bear, Chicken, and Ox, which come from I think just mainly the first two.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think some of them might have been from the third one too. I can't remember. And then there's stretch goals for more and more stuff, including all the way up at 90K. Lord Shen, the main bad guy from Kung Fu Panda 2, will be one of the villains.
Seems like you're a Kung Fu Panda expert here.
It was, I think, on Netflix for a while, and so
every day after school.
It was a pretty regular. I'm bored and I'm playing video games, but I want background noise. Oh, I know. I'll put on Kung Fu Panda because it's fantastic. Like you said, Jack Black's a national treasure.
That's true.
So, but
$80+ for a 10 to 30 minute real time dice game seems like a lot.
Yeah, especially because there's really not that many miniatures. 8 of the wolves, 12 20 total wolves, 12 are spearmen, 8 are swordsmen, 4 ox grunts, and then some bosses. It's
and 16 dice. But yeah,
Well, because the only difference in the cost is the minis.
Yeah,
the dice are in the base game, so the difference from 30 to 80 is 3 dozen miniatures tops.
It looks like there's some deluxe only expansion or stretch goals too.
Okay,
the minis basically.
Yeah,
but, and it's 34, not 30. I'm just trying to clarify. That is $5 difference. So
it's $4 difference.
Well, yes.
If we're gonna be pedantic about a couple bucks.
Yes, we are. So yeah, 55 for. It's like $2 a miniature. But yeah, it's obviously that's if you want the minis or not.
Yeah. So I don't know. Might be interesting, especially if you yourself are really interested in Kung Fu Panda, or you've got children who are, and you want a game to please them.
Yes. But it's good. How would you feel if it was just the minis? They only offered that one, the $80 one.
I'd feel it was too expensive.
Yeah.
Just like I feel it's too expensive.
No, I'm just saying it's good that they have an option if you would like to get the game, but you feel like the minis don't add enough to it.
Fair enough.
I think that's good when things do that. They should have done with Heroes of Land, Sea, and Air, but they did not.
That was Kung Fu Panda, the board game. Up next is Tang Garden. Well-funded at $261,000 of its $34,000 goal. Over 3,000 backers, and just under 3 weeks left to pledge this one, which you can for $52, or like everyone else, getting the deluxe box for $75. Yeah, the deluxe edition has 2,600 backers, and the regular edition has 200 backers.
Sounds about right.
So this is a game for 1 to 4 players. Takes about 45 minutes, in which you are going
solo or 2 to 4 players, I think.
So it plays 1 to 4 players.
Yes, but there is a solo mode.
Yes,
a special
solo mode. Yeah. But in this game, you are going to be competing to build a beautiful garden. And so on your turn, you are able to draw tiles and place them in the garden, as well as doing other actions to then modify the garden. You can extend it, shape it around, put decorations in, call in characters to come admire the garden, and then activate lanterns that will give you bonuses like being able to place multiple tiles, decorate 2 times, things like that. And yeah, you're going to do all of that, and then at the end of the game, whoever has earned the most points through beautifying this garden will be declared the winner.
Lots of cool components. The board looks fantastic. With all of those pavilion miniatures and stuff like that on it.
Yeah, and then you one of the things you do, you get to place backdrops so that in theory when you're in the garden, it's I guess the view you see off in the distance when you look in one direction or another. Looks gorgeous. Which as it should, considering it's a game about the Tang Dynasty, which they say here was the first golden age of the classical and now iconic Chinese gardens. So
yeah, well, it's just like Takedo. It's that's a game about just going around the countryside, painting, things like that. if that didn't look good, you'd be like,
why am I doing this?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So, side note on that, it's funny working that booth. Like occasionally I'd have people come by, and they'd kind of be loitering just off the edge of the booth, and I'd be like, not having anything to do. So I'd be like, hey, interested in any of the games? Could I, check anything out? And they're like, no, just want to stop and look at the beautiful art. I already, know I'm going to order these games later or something. It's like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
A lot of those Emperor S4 games have gorgeous art.
They do,
so,
yeah.
And Tang Garden, although not Emperor S4, is no exception to that beautiful art. The box art alone is gorgeous. So
the board, once it's all like built up and stuff, looks really cool too.
Yeah, I think that'd be something that I would really like about this game. That's one of the things I love about Terraforming Mars. Is it goes from being just the bland Mars, and then you get all the greens and blues and grays and all the different tiles.
Yeah.
And it looks cool at the end. Gives you a sense of accomplishment even when you don't win. I could see this game kind of doing that too as you build up a beautiful garden.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, very zen.
Quite.
Yep. That's Tang Garden. Go check it out if that sounds cool to you.
Next up in Kickstarter is Getaway Driver. This one is very well funded. 60,000 of its $9,000 goal, over 2,000 backers, about 2 weeks left to pledge this one, which you can for $24.
Yeah, so this is a 2-player asymmetric game that takes 30 to 45 minutes, and it takes place in the Burgle Brothers universe. One player will take on the role of the getaway driver, one player will take on the role of the police, and you race around through this town trying to capture and avoid each other. And as you play, you build the map, so every time it comes out quite a bit different. They say it's unique. I don't know if I'm willing to say that it'll always be unique, maybe from a very technical standpoint, but I feel like it'll probably likely...
Like 43 different tiles.
Yeah.
That's a good amount of variability.
Yes.
I mean, you're not
certainly.
wrong, yeah.
Yeah, they've unlocked a whole bunch of stretch goals already for upgrading meatballs and abilities and things like that. I guess I should maybe say a little bit about how the game is actually played.
Nah, it's okay. It's fine. Then you just be like most Kickstarter
games. So the way it's going to play out is each turn the police are going to secretly build the city and move their vehicles around, trying to corner the driver. And certain tiles that the driver can go through will expand the police force. So the more the driver does things, the police get more and more powerful. The driver is going to be using stunt cards from their hand to escape the different traps that the police are laying and try to pick up stashes along the way. If the last of the city tiles gets played, then the driver escapes and gets out of the way. If the police increase the pursuit meter to its highest space, they finally catch up to the driver and catch them. So
it's a unique idea. I think it's a unique take on a like theme.
Yes.
I haven't really heard, seen in a board game.
Yeah.
That seems like it'd be pretty fun.
And it's it's in that Burgle Bros universe where it's kind of a little goofy.
Yeah.
Like you're driving up on 2 wheels and doing stunts in the car and things like that.
Yeah. The cops city building mechanism makes me think of, I don't know how it actually plays out in this game, but it immediately makes me think of like the cave in Vast.
Right.
And the way you're building the cave and you're trying to do it in a way that will trap people, but also in a way that, you get to power up your abilities and activate things.
Right.
And so.
I do like it says to use natural obstacles.
Yeah.
The game respects the physical boundaries of your play space. The edge of the table is a cliff. The drinking glass is a lake. Use this to your advantage. So, I mean, I like that you're just like, you put it, like someone happens to set a drink like off to the side right here. And then like try and grab it like, no, that's part of our game. Stop it.
Stay away.
Yeah. It's a giant reservoir of beer. Don't let it spill.
Yeah. And I guess you can get 2 copies to make a 4-player game as well.
Oh, like two cops and then 2
getaway drivers.
2 getaway drivers.
Yeah.
Nice.
And do yourself a favor and watch the Kickstarter video for at least the first 10 seconds for the amazing police mustaches, and then immediately turn it off.
Because it's bad.
Yeah.
But they put some effort in there, which is fine.
Right. Now, I'm just curious, for the 4-player one, is it just become a team-based game? Or
I can only assume.
Okay,
because I didn't have much detail on the 2 to 4.
Gotcha. I think that'd be pretty funny if it was the cops were a team, but the getaway drivers were like a team, but like out for themselves. So they're like, fuck that. I don't care if you guys catch him. I just need to get away. So
yeah. See how those rules work.
Yeah.
It said it was available on Tabletopia and Tabletop Simulator as well, I think.
That's getting to be much more of a common thing for these types of games.
Yeah.
So
Definitely need to try that out at some point.
I like both. Tabletopia works on an iPad, which is nice.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have touch things. Tabletop Simulator has a lot of really complicated commands that you kind of have to get familiar with.
Gotcha.
And it also helps if you know the rules of the game.
Yes.
They're not going to guide you along like the Scythe app, where it's like, you don't really have, you should know the rules, but this is going to tell you nothing. You must learn everything.
Yeah. Because the game will be set up and then you're like, all right, let's start.
How?
How? Okay.
Because you have to physically move all the pieces.
Yeah. You have to shuffle. Yeah. So yeah, it seems like it could be pretty interesting.
Indeed.
That's Getaway Driver. Next up in Kickstarters is Pitchstorm. Very well funded, 26,000 of its $5,000 goal, just about 500 backers, and 3 weeks left to pitch to pledge this one.
Yeah.
Which you can for $25
or $55 for the game and 3 expansions.
Yes. So this is by Skybound, who did Super Fight and Red Flags, their first Kickstarter, but also a comic book publisher.
Right.
Yeah. So Pitchstorm plays 3 to 12 players, and it is a party style game. Zach, how about you tell us a little bit more about this?
All right. So basically, you are you're a Hollywood writer out of your element, trying to pitch a movie to the world's worst executives. Sorry, the world's best executives, according to this. And so basically, you are going to have so you're basically when you start off your pitch, you're going to have a character card. So like this one says the best hacker in the world, but then you're going to draw a plot card, and then you have to try and.
So one of them is random.
Yeah, one of them is random, and so this one goes on a quest for the Holy Grail, and then you have to try and come up with a pitch
for that movie.
And and it's one of those styles of games where you're pitching things to a judge,
like Snake Oil.
Yeah, exactly. The judge are executives, but these have note cards at the executives because that's what executives do. So they're a lot more active. So
it's the hacker with the
So we have to
can we add at least one dinosaur?
Yes, exactly. Or
and then you have to change your pitch to be like. Yeah. So he has to go through time. He goes a little too far back.
Right. Yeah. He goes to the dinosaur.
Picks up a velociraptor friend.
Exactly.
And then they go to the Crusades.
Yes. And then what's really cool is that once you get to 6 to 12 players, you can do teams. And then then it's 2 people trying to pitch it, and one person knows the character, one person knows the plot, and then they have to mesh them together. But then the executives become teams as well, so they get more notes that they give.
The main character needs to have a Samsung Galaxy to save the day. We have a deal with Samsung.
Yeah.
So now he's a computer hacker that travels through time, has a velociraptor friend, and he needs to find the Holy Grail, and then succeeds at finding the Holy Grail with a Samsung Galaxy?
Yeah. Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. Or one of my favorites is like, can we make fidget spinners central to the plot? And then obviously you have to go with it and stuff like that. And it just seems like it could be a lot of fun, especially because we've had a lot of fun with Snake Oil.
Oh yeah.
And it seems to be in that same vein.
A fraternity on the edge of on the verge of suspension has to survive an island full of hungry dinosaurs.
Yeah. But what if we make the main characters also have to rescue a kidnapped princess?
This one actually has a fantastic video.
Yes,
it was quite funny.
Of them, playing out the role of writers pitching to executives. That was really well done, I thought.
And then so that, like we were saying before, the base game or the base pledge, you get the game, and then you're also going to get a mini Kickstarter expansion. But the main 3 expansions that they have are the creature feature, which is like horror fans out there. So like this one is the crew of a remote Antarctic research station delves too deep into forbidden magic and pays a terrible price. But what if the dog was the killer all along? Cool twist, right? You have date night. So you have romantic styled movies. An overworked assistant in the world of high fashion tries to seduce the one that got away from their high school at their high school reunion. But let's set it in Jane Austen times. Ladies 18 to 35 love those dresses. And then award season, which is 3 award cards going to come out each round, and then everybody's going to vote those at the end of the round. So it's like best use of a boat in a film, most tearful ending, and the Cat's Choice Award, highest rated by cats.
Yeah.
So then you want to tailor your movies based on those.
Yeah.
And then there's also an NC-17 one that you can get as well.
Yeah.
But you have to actually pay for an extra 15 from that one, which
Those will just be,
dirty
cards.
Yeah.
This one looks cool.
Yeah, I'm actually considering backing this one because, like I said, I like Snake Oil and stuff like that, and I'm a big fan of movies, so I like this idea.
Yeah.
Of having to pitch random bullshit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. A gang of ruthless Girl Scouts. Apparently, one of the stretch goals is there's like transitions for each of the plot and like character cards at the top, like fade in a gang of ruthless Girl Scouts. Exterior, pristine suburban street.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right on. That is Pitchstorm. Go check it out if that sounds like fun to you as it does for us.
Sounds like fun to me.
Indeed.
And that's it for Kickstarters.
That is all. We did have a new email, so Jeff gets to read an email for the first time in a little while.
I mean, to be fair, I did last week, but it was just an old one.
Fair enough.
Time to ruin the voice even more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Beat it up real good.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com if you would like to send us an email. Like Steven has with his Shadowrun email. Hi, guys. I just listened to the episode where you mentioned the Shadowrun role-playing game. My buddies and I played the first edition of this a couple of times when we were in college back in the early 90s. It was okay, but we just couldn't get into it. We quickly moved on to other systems. I think you have to get pretty hardcore into Shadowrun to like play a lot of Shadowrun.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Especially with like D&D was back then, that was like, I'll just play this. However, a year or so ago, one of those same friends sent me a YouTube link to this awesome Shadowrun video from 1990. It's supposedly an actual promotional video from the FASA games put together to promote Shadowrun after it was first published in 1989. I can't personally vouch for this fact, but that doesn't really matter. The video clip is simply outstanding on its own. Please share this with your listeners. And then he has a link. And then he said that some of the YouTube comments are priceless. So yes, we will definitely 100% put that video in there because it is amazing.
I'll have it on Twitter, and then Zach, be sure. I think you can embed it on the website post.
Yeah.
So embed it down there at the bottom. So it'll be embedded in over on milehighgameguys.com.
Yeah, that video could use some editing.
Oh, God, yes.
It's just a real-time 4.5-minute video of LARPing Shadowrun. And that's it for emails at milehighgameguys.com.
Indeed it is. I don't believe we had any of our... no BGG responses from previous episodes.
That is correct.
We did get a new patron. So if you want to support us, you can go over to patreon.com/milehighgameguys, just like Chris did, where he went and pledged a $2 pledge.
Hooray!
Just out of Jeff's rage.
To be fair, I'm getting an extra $1 out of everyone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Instead of them paying 12.5 cents per episode.
They're paying a quarter.
Yeah.
A quarter an episode.
Yeah.
And I just imagine that they just throw a quarter at us every time we record.
That's fine.
Just ding us right in the face.
Maybe wad up those dollar bills.
I mean, that's better than like nickels and pennies.
True. He also sent us a message over on Patreon that says, "Hello from your newest patron. I was thinking of patronizing.
Don't patronize us.
More than $2, but also wanted to make sure the amount was small enough to warrant some abuse. A little about myself. I've played hobby board games sporadically since the early days of Catan, but only really get into the hobby in the last couple of years. I don't have too many opportunities to actually play, so at this point I am more of a collector than anything else. All my hopes and dreams are pinned on turning my 2 young kids into serious gamers. Star Wars Rebellion is just sitting in the closet until my 6-year-old develops some strategic thinking skills.
And then you crush him, just like the Rebellion deserves.
Yeah.
Filthy rebels.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, we play a bunch of cooperative games. For example, Forbidden Desert. Dexterity games, for example, Ice Cool. And I'm currently enjoying solo 7th Continent. Cooking dinner, doing dishes, and bicycle commuting gives me a lot of time for podcasts, which is why I was so happy to find The Most Podcast. Keep making more high-quantity content.
Yes.
CCMF, Chris. Indeed, choo choo.
Yeah.
And we will continue to make high quantity content.
Yes.
I like it.
Yep.
I love it.
We needed it on our business cards. High quantity content.
Purveyors of fine high quantity content.
But we already have such nice business cards that we need to blow through first.
I'm already like 2/3 of the way through mine.
I forgot mine last Gen Con. So.
I forgot mine at Geekway, so.
Yes, he did.
I did remember them for Origins, though.
That would have,
Yeah.
you would not have had any excuse.
Correct.
If you did.
So.
Because it's like, you're the only one going there, Adrian.
But yeah, thank you, Chris, for pledging. We do really appreciate all of the support, even from the $1 pledges who Jeff loves to make fun of.
It's my favorite part.
All of the people over there pledging and supporting the show helped us get fancy new mixing board, which has hopefully improved some of the audio quality. We're about to have enough money here to order a couple new mics for Zach and Jeff so that we'll all be on the same tier of microphone. And more and more things planned for the future. Eventually, it's going to buy us a really nice camera and we're going to start doing live streams. Yeah. So, thank you, everybody, for supporting over there. And like I said, if you're interested in supporting the show, you can go over to patreon.com/milehighgameguys and check out the pledge levels over there. So we also had a comment on our YouTube channel, which is one of the newer things that we've added, pretty much entirely for Paulo.
Yes.
And it was Paulo who commented. And this is a comment from last week's episode.
I mean, at least he's like making use of that.
He's absolutely made it. It's been 100% worth the tiny little bit of effort it was to check the send to YouTube box and then go to YouTube and actually set up a channel.
Yes.
100% worth it. So, well, it was.
No.
This comment might change things.
Nope. That's getting cut out. So he's just going to be, this is 100% worth it.
So this is on Wednesday's episode, episode 99. And he says, I can't put my finger on the reason, but this episode has been much better than the other ones. Do you guys have any idea why? And best I can think of is we're finally getting the hang of using the new equipment. That's what it was. That's 100% what it was. There's nothing else that was different about last week's episode other than us getting better at using our equipment.
I mean, maybe it was just we had a guest on.
Yeah, Wes is a fantastic guest.
Yeah.
Indeed.
He's
got a lot of letters at the end of his title.
He does.
He failed me. He failed me. He should have mentioned on the show that he's actually going to be the DM for the new Dungeons and Dragons podcast we're starting. He told me he didn't think he did.
I thought he did.
And I didn't listen all the way through the closing stuff.
Okay.
To be fair.
You're like, even as one of the hosts, I couldn't make it all the way through.
I mean, I don't need to. Mostly I was listening to, make sure you guys didn't fuck it up or something.
I don't listen to the episodes. So.
Yeah.
I've got hours of other things I can do.
Yeah. Whole hours.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Paulo, for the continued comments over there on YouTube that, like I said, make it 100% worth.
A lot of people mentioned last week's episode. Just really
there's
on point for some reason.
Wes is clearly just a superior guest.
Yeah, we just finally hit our stride, I guess.
That was it.
I mean, now we'll just have to wait to see if people think that we still hitting that or if there was a dip for whatever reason.
Was there any kind of a regression this week?
Yeah, I don't know what it was about. No, it's just you lost it on this next episode.
Oh, I hate you guys so very much.
You had it and it was gone.
I'm just bummed. I was hoping more people would send in because I told some people, I was like, look, you can send shit in and Adrian cannot respond at all. So this is the time to get unfiltered opinions on here with no repercussions. But nobody. Wes said he was going to, but then he was like, I'm
just going to be on the episode.
I'm just going to be on the episode instead. So.
Well, now I'm back and exerting all of my oppressive creative control. Just real nose to the grindstone, boot to the back of the neck. I don't know.
That's
what terms are there for being oppressive and controlling? I don't know.
Oppressive and control.
Those are good terms. I like those.
Indeed. Right on. That basically wraps everything up. If you would like to get a hold of us, you can always send us emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can find us on Twitter, where I tweet under @MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
And I am Jeff_MHGG.
We have Facebook and Instagram /MileHighGameGuys. We have that Patreon that we mentioned earlier, patreon.com/MileHighGameGuys. We are proud members of Punchboard Media. You can jump over to punchboardmedia.com and check out all of the other awesome content creators, the many of whom I got to meet this past weekend at Origins, which was fantastic, getting to see all of those people put some faces to names. Also, be sure to go support our sponsor, Gray Fox Games, by checking out their website, grayfoxgames.com. While you're there, you can take a look at Deception Undercover Allies, the new expansion for their Deception game. Undercover Allies adds more means cards, clue cards, scene tiles, events, and roles, as well as bringing more balance to the murderer's chosen weapons. They've added more cards to make less chosen causes of death, like illness or disease, more viable options, which adds more uncertainty to the game and creates more interesting endgame narratives. So if you've been playing Deception Murder in Hong Kong and you were looking for more of that, then you can find that with the Deception Undercover Allies expansion over there, like I said, on grayfoxgames.com. They even have the Kickstarter edition box, which is a bigger box to hold all of it very nicely, and has a link to also buy some of the Kickstarter exclusive cards directly from them while supplies last. So, yeah, but we really appreciate Gray Fox's support. Gotta actually see Alex again at Origins and give him some shit over at their booth. Their booth was fucking slammed busy, though. They actually sold out of Champions of Midgard. They brought a bunch of it, and they didn't think they would actually sell out, and they were sold out by like the end of the day Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah. So
wow,
really good con for them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 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 Wow.
Indeed. Just gonna see how many times you're gonna say wow, Zach. Or Jeff.
Wow.
So Jeff. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jeff. I forgot to ask you. Do you have a prepared statement about our wonderful sponsor, Gray Fox?
Indeed, Gray Fox Games, quality games, cleverly crafted. Also, what about the good things war has done for us? Why don't we ever hear speeches about that? Jobs, technology, a common purpose. All we're saying is give war a chance.
Maybe not.
It's from one of the greatest moments in Metal Gear history.
I wouldn't know. So, right on. That brings the episode to a close. Thanks everybody for listening in. As always, I have been your host, Adrian.
I am still Zach.
And I'm Horsey Jeff.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. She's running. It's Shadow Run. Where do you think Android Netrunner comes from? Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh.
It's like a CDI game.
Oh my God.
We're gonna get some Tron action up in here. I guarantee
this
it.
is
Oh man, wait a
better
minute.
than Tron.
Wait a minute. This is Linux. I know this. Or Unix.
Yeah, this is a Unix system.
I know this.
Punchboard Media,
where we all
bring something
to the table.
Pull up a chair
At punchboardmedia.com.